Hi, this is Catherine Rose. I'm with BoardGameGeek here at SPIEL 2019. I'm sitting here with Daniel Sipp from Harenbach Verlag.
Yes, that's right.
And he's here to talk about From Idiot to President.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly.
What is this game about?
This game is about, actually it's about the US-American primaries. So you try to become candidate of your party. And you need to do this by winning over delegates in each state. They're symbolized by ties here. So we sort of make a little fun of the whole election process and about how politicians need to make outrageous headlines to win over votes. That's basically sort of the topical idea behind it. And mechanical-wise, it's a game where you take states and you take ties. Whoever has the most ties wins. And in order to be able to move over the field, you need to win over these little cubes, and you win them by fulfilling headline cards, outrageous headline cards. So they're over there. They're from easy to moderate to hard, and the easy ones give you 1 stone, the moderate ones 2, and the hard ones 3s. So you win over these stones, and you can use them to move over the field and take states. So that's the basic mechanic. The interesting part about this mechanic is that in order to fulfill these cards, they give you certain tasks. We have a better one here, which is sort of more self-explanatory here. It says you need to fulfill dice rolls. So for example, this is the easy card. Has a funny headline, which we have about 170 cards. They all have different headlines. You need 5 3s or 5 5s. You do this by rolling dice. You have 24 dice up there, which all of the players use. And if you're on, you take 6 and you roll them, right? So if you would start a normal game, you would choose a character with which you would run for the campaign. There's character cards here, which you can choose. It can be, these are like all stereotyped, overly ridiculous cards. You choose 1 type and 1 attribute card, which you would place here. So if I would translate them for the moment, this would be your Billy Hill, you're, no, it's not an attribute, it's a type. You're a traumatized cheese producer. So that's sort of a joke behind it. So, but that's the persona with which you would run for the presidency. And then I remove them because I need to roll the dice. Then you would roll the dice because you try to fulfill this headline card. So you roll, you take 6 dice, you roll them, and then you choose what you need. Usually you take 2 of these. Every player takes 2, and you can choose how hard they should be. For example, what can we use? We can use the 5s here. We don't have a 3, so for this card we could only use the 5s. The problem is you can only take 2 dice of different number or all of the same number, right? So you could take, if you would use the 1, you could take 5 and 1, or you take all the 5s. Now, Billy Hill has a special ability. The underinsured voting group, he follows him blindly, so he can manipulate sort of this group. He can turn this to any number, so like 5. So then you take the 4 5s and you place the 4 5s. You place them up here. This go back to the pile. The next player is on. He has his own task cards, which he tries to fulfill. He takes 6 dice, rolls them, places dice up here, and so on, until there's only 4 dice left up here, and all of the other dice are somehow distributed on top here. So all of the players now take their 2 headline cards, and they check what they have fulfilled. So the dice stay here. And you check, everybody uses them. Everyone's fulfilled. So let's say you have fulfilled both of them.
You don't use them up, you just see where they are.
You take them away after this round is over, and then you do it again. So you have fulfilled, for example, these 2 cards, right? You say you're red, so you get 1 dice or 1 cube for this one and 2 for this card. You get an additional dice each round that you're in. For example, 1 in the first, 2 in the second, just to make sure that if somebody does not fulfill any card, he has at least 1 or 2 dice to go. So now we have 3, and you start moving. So we come from this dice rolling phase into a movement phase, where you walk over the board like this and take states with these tie symbols. You would end up here, and now it's the turn of the second player. He has fulfilled some cards as well. Maybe he has only done 2, so he takes this 1 2 and moves further. Right? And again and again. After all the player has moved over the field, the round is over. You make 4 rounds of this, and then you calculate the tie symbols, and the one with the most ties wins. Now there's some variation to it and some extra things, because this area here, the field, is sort of varies in terms of how much value these states have. Some have 4, some have 2, and there are bonus cards.
Yeah, I was going to say there's some extra symbols in here.
Yeah, exactly. So, for example, if you go on New Mexico, you get a small bonus card. these bonus cards, they make your character better and make it more likely that you will fulfill harder cards in the run of the game.
Yeah, okay.
For example, now you win over the restless. Meaning, whenever you're missing a 4 up here to fulfill these cards, you can take this as an additional one. The tribe method work the same way. If you now move to a bigger field, like a big bonus field, with the $sign, you get additional bonus card. It's a $sign because we all know how politics work. You need money. How do you get money?
Exactly.
You get money from a lobby. For example, here, the marijuana lobby, they give you about $300,000. What they in fact actually give you is, from now on, you get an additional movement cube with each fulfilled headline card. So 1 give you 2, 2, 3, and so on and so on.
And this is a continuous thing that's
you
going to last you.
keep it, and you can use it in every time in the round, like once every round. So you get better and better with time. You use harder cards and can move further. The thing is, obviously, the more the further you're in the game, more of these states will be taken. Like all of the players would have placed their stones somewhere, and you sort of start competing. You take states from other players. For example, if we're in Iowa and you're red, you want to take Missouri, you place 2 stones here, kick him out, and he now needs 3 to kick you out.
Okay.
Right? So there's a competitive aspect now after a while, after like the second round. So people will start sort of to compete with each other, they kick each other, but they always start to calculate now. They will see what states do I need to win, does it really make sense, or is it too expensive? So we think that's not how politics work. We think it's more ridiculous. So we included 1 extra card.
Okay.
That's the Hey Honey card, which is sort of the refrigerator notice by your husband or your wife. And you get 1 of these cards, each player gets 1 of these cards in the beginning of the game. And you read it and you keep it a secret. Because it says, for example, hey honey, I spoke with Oxford Analytica, Pennsylvania, North Carolina count double. So you know from the beginning of the game that these 2 states count twice. So you will make sure that you will have them in the end when the final calculations is in. Other cards are called all states with just 1 tie will count double. Others say California is yours. So there you can just leave California out.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it because that's going to be yours anyway, right?
Yeah, that's basically the game.
And 5 players, is that correct?
We recommend 3 to 5. You can play with 2. The problem is that the competitive aspect might not really set in because you don't meet in the game field.
Yeah,
3 to 5 is perfect. It's ideal. And it's about, I would say, it's good 30 minutes, 40 minutes if you really get into the jokes of the cards and you have a group of people who like to make fun of political sort of processes. We had people at our booth who laughed a lot and had 45 minutes there. So
right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, that is from idiot to president, because anyone can do it, right?
Yes.
From Harenbach College.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.